Solway.
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 Solway, and welcome to eTogaTrek. I'm Magister Jefferson, and today we're going to take a journey to ancient Rome. I hope that you're ready, because we've got some fun things in store for you today. We've been learning to speak a little bit of Latin, just like the Romans did about 2,000 years ago. So let's continue with some more conversation. As we explore Roman art today, I might say to you, Caeruleum mihi placet. Qui color tibi placet. Do you recognize any of those Latin words? Yeah, the word color in Latin refers to color, just the same as in English. So this is how we're going to talk about our favorite colors. Here are some colors that you might like. Flawum, yellow. Fulvum, brown. Rubrum, red. Prosinum, green. And Caeruleum, blue. Practice saying the name of your favorite color in Latin. So then I can ask you what color you like, and you can respond with the phrase mihi placet, which means I like. Let's give that a try. Caeruleum mihi placet. Qui color tibi placet. Before we start our journey, let's make sure that we have all the supplies that we'll need. First, an eTogaTrek journal. Find a small notebook to use and make it your eTogaTrek journal. You'll need it a few times today. 2 graham crackers, frosting, Skittles or M&Ms, a table knife or a butter knife, and a paper towel or construction paper. Now we're ready to meet our instructor for today, Magistra Hart. Salve, Magistra Hart.
Salve, Magister Jefferson.
Caeruleum mihi placet. Qui color tibi placet.
Rubrum mihi placet.
Ah, rubrum pulchrum est. Red is a beautiful color.
Gratias tibiaga, Magister Jefferson. So, today we'll be talking about mosaics, one of the most common forms of art in ancient Rome. It's time for some brainstorming, so get out your eTogaTrek journal. Think about what you already know about mosaics in ancient Rome. What do mosaics look like? And what types of things do you think Romans made pictures of? Take a minute to write down your ideas in your eTogaTrek journal. Pause the video now to write down your ideas. Those are some great ideas to get our thoughts going about mosaics and art in ancient Rome. Now we are going to take a quick look at pictures of a few actual mosaics designed by Romans about 2,000 years ago. Think about what you see. You're going to write down some ideas in your eTogaTrek journal in just a minute. So the first mosaic that we see is one of Hercules. In ancient mythology, Hercules completed 12 labors, or challenges, to prove his strength. Those pictures show 4 of his labors. In the top left, he captures a deer. In the top right, he kills some annoying but very dangerous birds. And in the bottom left, he's wrestling with a fierce lion, and in the bottom right, he battles the snaky hydra. Do you recognize the animal in the next mosaic? The Romans would have labeled this picture with the words cave canem, which means beware of the dog. Some families today use signs just like this to tell visitors the same thing, beware of the dog. Where in the house do you think the Romans would have put this mosaic? The next mosaic is very large. You can see the head of Medusa in the middle. In Roman mythology, Medusa was a monster who had snakes for hair, and whenever you looked her in the eye, you turned to stone. Don't worry though, this Medusa isn't real, she's just the mosaic. In the border around Medusa's head, you can see some images of birds. The last mosaic we'll see has a dancer and 2 musicians. One musician is playing the Roman version of the flute, and the other is carrying sticks to play the drums. The dancer, on the other hand, is wearing ivy in her hair and holding castanets in her hands to make more music as she dances. If you lived in ancient Rome, you might see a group like this performing as you walk through the streets. Now that you've seen 4 mosaics from ancient Rome, think about what you notice in each of these mosaics. Can you tell how the mosaics were made? What types of things did the Romans feature in their art? Use your eTogaTrek journal to write down a few ideas and things that you've noticed about mosaics in ancient Rome. Pause the video now to write down your ideas. Those are some great ideas. Now let's talk about a few things that you might have seen. So first, you might have noticed that mosaics often show characters from mythology. The stories of Hercules and Medusa were very famous during those times, and people would probably have known them pretty well. Secondly, other mosaics showed images from daily life. Romans every day might have seen dancers and musicians performing along the streets. And a lot of Romans apparently had pet dogs at home too. Did you notice how each mosaic had little tiny pieces? Let's take a closer look at this Kawe Kana mosaic. Look at how the white background is made up of a lot of these tiny squares. Then look at the body of the dog. It has a lot of tiny black squares, right? These are mosaic tiles called tesserae. They were usually made of stone or glass and fit together like puzzle pieces to create a picture. The artist would have stuck all of these tiny tesserae pieces together by using mortar, which is kind of like cement. Did you have any thoughts about where the Romans would have put these mosaics? They were very decorative, as you can see, and the Romans actually put them on the floors of their houses. Just like we use carpets or fancy rugs to decorate our own floors, the Romans used mosaics. Pretty cool, right? So now let's take a quick look at some other mosaics. Firstly, the ones we just saw have beautiful images. Sometimes mosaics had very simple patterns, like this one right here. Remember that these mosaics are on the floor. You don't always want to be walking on top of your own beautiful artwork, right? And we mentioned earlier that mosaics were made up of small little pieces called tesserae. Sometimes you can see the tesserae tiles easily, but in some mosaics, like this one of the gladiators, they use very teeny tiny tesserae. You can barely even see the individual tiles. We're now going to look at a very large mosaic that was found in Lod, Israel. It's so big that it even has its own website. Look at the size of these people in comparison to the mosaic. This square section is 13 feet wide. The archaeologists who found it believe that it was made for a very wealthy Roman in Israel around AD 300. That was 1,700 years ago. Long time ago, right? So in just a minute, we're going to actually visit the website for this Lod mosaic and explore around it. When you go to the website, you should click the box with arrows to make it first fit your screen. Then you can zoom with the plus and minus signs. Afterwards, then you can drag the mosaic around by clicking the arrow buttons. And now we have a scavenger hunt just for you. There are lots of animals in this mosaic, so let's see how many you can find. Look for these animals: a lion, a giraffe, an elephant, a goose, a rabbit, and a peacock. To get to the website, click the link in the green box right below this video. And pause this video now to start your scavenger hunt. Great! So how did you do? Let's take a look at some answers. But you might have found some other alternate answers as well. So most of these are in the large square panel. In the center, you can find the lion, the giraffe, and the elephant. Along the edges are the goose and the rabbit. And in the top section, you can also see the peacock. There are lots of other animals and plenty of fish to go around as well. So today, you are going to become an artist and create your own mosaic. But yours will be cooler than ancient mosaics because you'll be able to actually eat yours when you're finished. Yuga pie! So first, lay down some paper towels or construction paper so you don't get your table messy. Then, take 2 graham crackers and lay them side by side so that they make a square. This will be the base for your mosaic. Next, use a knife to spread some of the frosting on top of your graham crackers. This will be the mortar for your mosaic, which will help the tesserae all stick together. Make sure that you spread the frosting evenly all across the graham crackers so that you can make a large mosaic. Now it's time for the artwork. My tesserae will be M&Ms, as you can see, but yours could also be Skittles or jelly beans or any kind of your sweet treats that you really like. So, start by making your main shape in the center of your square base. Let's make a smiley face today. And voila! Now you have a fantabulous mosaic. Don't devour your artwork just yet, though. Make sure you take a picture of it first. With your picture, you can enter in the contest to win some pretty super cool prizes. Stick around to the end of the video to learn how. So today, we saw many examples of Roman mosaics. They were made up of these tiny, tiny pieces called tesserae, or tiles, that created a picture. Sometimes the tesserae were so small you could barely see them. The tesserae were stuck together with mortar so that the artwork didn't fall apart. When the artist was all finished, the mosaic would then decorate the floor of the Roman family's house. But now, here are a few questions for you to think about. If you were a Roman, where would you put the mosaic in your house? And what design would you use for your mosaic? Lastly, what was difficult about creating a picture inside of your mosaic? Thank you for exploring Roman mosaics with us today. Look out for mosaics in your home and in your neighborhood, since you now know all about them. I hope that you had a lot of fun and enjoy eating your mosaic. After you take a picture of it, of course. See you next time!
Do you know that Romans kept statues of their ancestors and household gods in their homes? They believed that these gods would protect them at home.
Solway again. I'm glad that you joined us today for our trek back in time to ancient Rome. I hope you enjoyed making your mosaic. It's going to be pretty tasty, but don't forget to first take a picture of your mosaic before you eat it. You're going to want to submit your picture for our online contest, where you can earn some great prizes. To enter the contest, click the link in the blue box below and upload your picture. If you had any questions about art or mosaics in ancient Rome, you can send them to us on that page. We would love to hear all of your thoughts and interesting ideas. We'll read your questions and post some answers to them right here. That's all we have for today. So, thanks for joining us. And until next time, Wale, we'll see you again right back here.
Wale.
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 Wale.